What's up guys, Matt Mrozik aka MVM397 with a long overdue update on the Gouf Custom that I've been doing for a client. So me and the wife have come to an agreement that I need to have some time to work out in the garage, and so anyway, here we are. So I spent the past few days going back over the resin pieces, fixing any bubbles, repriming and stuff, and I think I've got this these pieces as good as they're going to get. Now this cast is from Super G. It's a recast of the Neo grade kit, and it's okay. It's not perfect. It's not Neo grade quality by any means. There are quite a few bubbles. Some of the casting is not as sharp as I would like it to be, but I think when it's all done, it'll be good. So last night what I did is I went through and I sprayed this dark gray. This is from Playmo Color. And I went and sprayed all these recessed areas with the dark gray, and you can see like here on the knee armors, or the thigh armors. You can see there, those get, hold on, camera's not focusing. Right in there, that's sprayed gray, and then that will get masked, and then the armor will be sprayed. And then after that, I went and I sprayed the bottom of the feet. Some of these details, the dark gray, I'll mask that off and spray the bottom of the feet black. Let's see what else. Just, this is what I did last night. I just sprayed all these little recessed areas that need to get masked before I start spraying the armor color. Focus, focus, focus. Maybe. Anyway, get the idea. I also started spraying some of the inner frame. The inner frame is going to be really simple just because you're not going to see any of it. I'm going to glue all the armor on, so he will not be able to take it off, which is fine, just because it's resin and it doesn't fit as nicely as it should as far as plastic goes. So I picked out a few details to spray aluminum. Again, my camera's not focusing, sorry. Let's see. This is Tester's Metallizer, which I'm trying for the first time, and I like it. It's a lacquer paint. Spray it right out of the bottle. It's already thinned. It covers really nice. I like it. So as an alternative to Mr. Color Metallics, I think it's a good alternative. So I picked out a few pieces to spray aluminum, and then the rest will be dark gray to match these recessed areas. And the picture I'm going by is this Gouf Custom here on Gundam Guy's blog. This is the link that he sent me to go by. So I'm using this as a guide. It's not going to match this perfectly, obviously, because I can't get the colors exactly, but it's a good reference material. So that's what I'm using as my reference. So the gray that I used, like here on this one, it's a little bit lighter. I went with a little darker gray. I'm going to try to match that blue as closely as possible. It looks like it's got a little purple in there. So right now what I'm going to do is, and I'll make another video of this and splice it together, but I got these two colors from Playmo. I've got, well, I got a bunch of blues, but these two I think are what I'm going to need to mix together. I got Sky Blue, which is way too bright, and Royal Blue, which is way too blue. So I'm going to mix up a ratio of these guys and get close to that blue, and then add a couple drops of purple just to give a little violet tint. So that's what I'm going to do now, and let's see what I come up with. Okay, so what I came up with was equal parts of the Royal Blue. So one part Royal Blue, 1 part Sky Blue, and I did this in 2.5 mils on the Royal Blue, 2.5 mils on the Sky Blue, and then I added 10 drops of the Lavender Blue. And I came up with this. Now this is probably showing up a little dark on my camera because my lighting sucks for filming. See, this will focus. Come on. Focus, focus. Anyway, this probably looks like crap on my camera. It looks really dark on the screen here, but it's actually pretty close to what's on the monitor. Say what you say about Kyle, Playmo paints rock. I love these paints. I don't know. I think they're way better than Mr. Color. I say that over and over again, but they spray so freaking smooth. It's just ridiculous. I thin the Plamo paints 1-to-1, 1 part paint, 1 part thinner, so it just looks really good. So that's the color I'm going to go with for the light blue armor. There is a darker blue, kind of like a midnight blue. So what I'll do with that is I'll take this mixture here, and I'll probably add some of this dark. I'll add this dark gray to it, so it'll be grayish blue. So we'll do that later, but I'm going to spray some of these parts that I can right now with this light blue and move on from there. So today I've got some masking to do and spraying some armor and painting the frame, and hopefully I'll get that done today. So I'm just going to keep this growing. I'm going to keep splicing video together to make one long update, because I'm in the painting process now of this kit. So my goal is to, I'm going to do the suit first, and then I'm going to tackle the weapon next. The shield and the weapons. The casting on these weapons is not good. This guy right here, the barrels are anything but round. There's going to take a lot of sanding to get those to look straight. I think I'm going to do what Gamera Ban Ray did, or Game did. They're going to build the weapons. I'm going to glue it all together, and I'm just going to have to mask the crap out of it. Because there's a lot of gluing and stuff. I don't want to mess up, hours and hours of paint work with glue everywhere. So I think I'm going to bite the bullet. I'll build the shield, I'll paint it, and I'll just mask it. I think that's the smartest thing to do. It's a little more work in the end, but it's better than risking getting glue on everything. So yeah, that's where I am today. Hopefully I'll get lots of painting done. That's my goal, is to paint like a madman. Lots of masking, but so far I'm happy. The prep work on the resin, I said, was not the best, the easiest. This kit, initially from the first view, I thought, man, this kit's really nice, casting's really good. As soon as I threw that on that first coat of primer, a lot of issues popped up, a lot of bubbles. So anyway, if you get this kit from Super G, just be fair warned that the casting could be better. I have the SMS version, which I don't know if I'll build it for myself or if I'll sell it. The one thing I don't like about the SMS version is that half the armor is in clear, so it's no big deal, but it's kind of annoying. But there we are so far. I'll keep the videos coming on this guy. I'll probably make some more today. So anyway, there we are so far. Bye. Okay guys, continuing on with the Gouf Custom. I'm going to show you how I mask stuff real quick, at least details. So when you're painting and masking, what you want to do is you want to start from the lowest point of the part and work your way up, because it's easier to paint the recesses, mask those, then paint your way up to the top surface. This is a fairly simple piece. This will need masking 2 times. So as I mentioned earlier, I went ahead and I sprayed the recesses, the dark gray, as you can see there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mask that off. I'm going to show you what I do. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a X-Acto knife, brand new blade. You're going to need your tape, good old Tamiya tape here, and you're going to need a toothpick or something not too sharp, but something that you can kind of seal the tape down with. So what you're going to do is get yourself a nice piece of tape here, and you're going to mask over that whole entire area that's been painted like this. You're going to cover that whole spot. Now this is the first time I've masked on this kit, so you're going to see with me whether or not my priming and everything has paid off. So what you can see here is you can see that there's an outline. You can see the outline of the detail area that I've already sprayed. So what we want to do is we want to take this, either your toothpick or I'm using a skewer, just gently push that down. And you can see here that it's not a very sharp edge. So I'm going to pull the tape up a little bit, and I'm going to work from the center of that area and work out to the edge and get that tape right up into that detail. There you go. Now you can see that the tape is kind of right up into that edge, and just very gently push that tape down into the edge. You don't want to push too hard because you'll scratch your paint, and that's no fun. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. I got a pretty good defined edge. I'm going to zoom out here a little bit so I can work a little bit easier. So now what I'm going to do with my brand new blade Hopefully you guys can see this. I'm going to very lightly go right into the corner there and draw my blade. Oops, it slipped. So hopefully that didn't mess me up. To each corner. Just go real slow, guys. This part takes a very long time. Just go around the whole perimeter using that edge as your guide. So this is my first masking on this kit, so we'll see how it turns out. Sometimes you have to do it a couple times. It doesn't turn out the way you want it, so masking is a long and tedious process, but it is necessary a lot of times. You see I'm just working my way around the edge, barely pushing on the blade. Okay, now I think I've gone all the way around. I'm going to start pulling this tape up and see how we are. Okay, I can see that I didn't cut all the way right here, so I'm going to go back and do it again. Try that. It's lifting up again, so give another little cut. Still lifting up. It's hard to tell if you've got it cut all the way around until you start trying to pull it off. And it's hard. This is a tough piece because that lip is not very deep. Okay, so now I got the tape in there. We're going to take a look at this and see how well I did. Let's see. Okay, this will focus. Well, it's not perfect, so I'm going to do it over. But you get the idea. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off. Since I was doing it on this camera, it was hard. I wasn't really able to get down, look close to the piece, but you get the idea. Paint your lowest spot first. Put the tape in. Push it around the edges. Use that edge as a guide to cut it off. So I'm going to do this again off camera, and then show you what it looks like, what it should look like in the end. You can see here that this is kind of ragged. It's not real clean. It's not right around the edge, very smooth. So I'm going to do it off camera and show you what it should look like in the end. Okay, so I took this off camera, where I get nice and close to it, and this is what it should look like when you're done. So after I cut it out, I take my skewer or my toothpick and I go around the edges again, just real light, pushing that edge down. So now this still isn't exactly perfect, and that's okay, because what's going to happen is after I paint the blue, this will get panel lined. So any little discrepancy between the blue and that gray will get panel lined. So another thing that you need to do when you're doing this type of thing is you'll notice that I've got this overspray around the outside edge here from where I painted, and that's got a little bit of texture to it. So you want to sand that just a little bit. You want to get rid of that roughness. So I take an ultra fine sanding sponge. That's what this is, ultra fine. And I just go in there and I just very lightly. You don't want to mess up your paint. And I just go in there very super light. You're not trying to sand the paint off. You're going to paint over. You don't care about that. And don't worry about repriming, because you'll put enough paint on that this will cover up. So I'm going there super light, and that's it. I barely touched it. Before, I could feel the texture of the paint. Now it's perfectly smooth as with the primer. So you need to do that before you spray the base coat. Otherwise you'll see a little ring of texture. It's not the end of the world if you get that, because if you flat coat it, that will all disappear and be hidden, but I like to do it anyway. So the next step on this piece is I'll mask the other side right there, sand that area, spray my light blue for the armor. Once that dries, I'll come back and I'll mask these little pieces off here, right there and right there, and that gets sprayed in another color. It gets sprayed the same color, this dark gray. The reason I didn't spray it first is because it's much harder to spray this and try to mask around it to get down around all these edges than it is to spray the blue and put your tape up right against that. That's why you start from your lowest point and work your way up. So I'll show you that later when I get to that point, but right now I'm going to continue masking all these pieces, getting ready for the light blue color of the armor. Alright, back with the Gouf again, or continuing with the Gouf. So I sprayed all my light blue armor, let's see, today's Monday, on Sunday, and by the time I got it all done, I was looking at it and it was too dark and it was actually too blue. So I went back and I took the color I originally made, I added a little bit of light gray, and I added more light lavender. And now I've got the color that I was shooting for originally. Sometimes that happens when you shoot the first few pieces of something, it looks like it's what you want, and then as you see more of it and more of it, you realize it's the wrong color. So not a big deal. So I just had to adjust the color, and now it's exactly what I want. So I also took off the masking tape of the pieces that I had masked earlier, and so now this is really shiny because this hasn't been flat coated yet. See if I get this to focus. It wants to focus on the background. So don't mind the gloss. That'll be knocked down when I flat coat everything. Let's see if I get to focus here. Come on. Anyway, you get the idea. So there's those. There's the armors. Turn on the light, see if it helps. A little bit. The leg armors, these had a little detail that needed to be masked right there. There's like a little vent or something. Come on, focus. Ah. Come on. Oh my goodness. Come on, camera. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I think I need a new camera. There it goes. So this little detail needed to be masked and shot. So I did make one goof move. This is the side armor, and it's the wrong color. This should be the dark blue, which I'm going to mix up and spray tonight. So not a big deal. Luckily I didn't take the masking tape off right there, which is the internal details, which I sprayed and masked over yesterday, and then sprayed the wrong color. This part also is going to get sprayed the dark blue, and that little mechanical detail there needs to be masked off and sprayed. So I think I'm going to maybe spray that first. I could go either way on this piece because that mechanical detail is at the same level as the rest of the armor. It's not like at a lower detail, so I could either spray the mechanical detail, paint the mechanical detail, mask over it, and then spray the blue, or vice versa, spray the blue, then mask off the blue. I think I'm going to spray the blue first just because I'm at that point to do that. I can kind of go backwards. I was doing some test fitting on some of the pieces on the foot armors. Oh, whoops, almost dropped that. So I also masked off the bottom of the feet. So where you see the masking tape is dark gray, and the rest of the foot will get sprayed black. Nice thing about matte top coat is that the colors will get a little lighter, so the black won't be like stark black, and the dark gray will be a little lighter and everything. So that would just give a little contrast on the bottom of the foot. So I was doing some test fitting, and I found to make some adjustments. When I put the internal part of the foot into here, I've got some pretty good paint rubbing. You can see right there I got a little scratch, which I'm going to brush touch, but I'm going to have to go in and and I didn't have this when I did the test fitting, but now that I've got paint and primer on, I'm having some fitting issues, which is always fun. I'm going to go in, I'm going to file the insides of this part right here, just sand it down a little bit so it'll make room for that mechanical part, and then there won't be any paint scratching. Not that he's going to be doing a lot of posing and moving of this thing, but just in case he does want to have the toe bend like that, we'll have minimal paint scratching. And that's one reason why I don't pose my kits, guys. People are like, why don't you repose your kits? I spend so much time painting and sanding. I'd rather just pick a really cool pose and leave it at that and not move it around and risk scratching the paint. Here's the chest part. Those two little pieces get sprayed. The aluminum that I'm using for the metal kind of detail highlights, so that'll get sprayed tonight. Here's the frame. Internals are dark gray. Here's all the aluminum little bits that you'll see that kind of get highlighted. I started to spray the power cables last night, and goddamn, there's a lot of them. I don't know, there's probably 60 of these suckers. And after spraying about 20 of them, I realized that they look kind of crappy. I don't know if any of you guys have ever tried to sand and spray paint the plastic cables that come with these kits. It's really hard to get them to look good. To sand them, I put them on a skewer, and I put a skewer in the drill, and I put the part on the drill, and I spun it around some sandpaper, and even that, they're not really perfectly round. So I sent an email to my client, and I'm going to replace them with metal detail parts, and those will either stay silver, or I may do like a clear smoke on them. So anyway, so that's where we are. Here's all the weapon parts, the shield, the Gatling or the gun, and the sword and all that stuff. These little pieces over here will get sprayed red for the little piston details. I've got to sand these out tonight. This is one spot where the cast isn't as good as I initially thought. These pieces aren't exactly round. I'm going to do my best to sand them out and make them look round, but you know. So it's a recast, so you know. And it's from Super G, and I have a couple Super G kits, but mine were good. Let's see if it's going to focus. Maybe not. Anyway, this is the little parts that go on the arm. So I need to sand those down tonight, and I've got to get those sprayed the light blue, because light blue is a custom mix, and if I had to recreate it, it would be impossible, because I basically just kind of added paint together until I got the color I wanted. I didn't take any notes, so I'm going to spray those tonight, and the rest of the paint I'm going to try to save and bottle up and ship it to my client so he has some touch-up paint if something happens. But oh, the shoulders turned out really nice right here. Let's see, get this under some light. These were a bear to mask. I spent a lot of time masking these last night, and in the end they turned out really well. The reason they took so long is because you got this gray piece, that gray detail, and just about quarter way you get that little blue part that sticks up. So you have to mask around that. God dang, my lighting sucks, and this will not focus. So hopefully you can see that, but masking those was not exactly fun. But it you know, masking, it takes a lot of time, but it's worth it. And look how smooth that paint is, man. Again, Plainbow paints. I'm a fan. Really smooth. Looking good. So that's where I am there. I'm gonna keep do a little more work on this tonight. I think I spent between Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think I've got like 20 hours in this guy this weekend. I busted my butt to get a lot of this sprayed. So tonight's goal is to get these little round parts sanded and sprayed the blue, or sprayed the dark gray so I can mask for blue. And I'm going to mix up my dark blue color tonight and hopefully get all this parts sprayed, because then these need some masking here. These little details get masked. Little details on the side, skirts and stuff. Not as much as on these pieces, but there's still some masking. But that's where I am, and I'll just keep adding to this video, or maybe I'll make a new one. Anyway, we'll catch you guys later. Bye. Alright, tonight's progress is I mixed up my dark blue, and it's right here. Looking pretty good. Looking nice and shiny. Don't worry, that's going to get knocked down with the matte coat, but there it is. It'll look nice against the light blue. Those little details on the side there, those get masked off, and those will get sprayed dark gray. The backpack here, it's been sprayed also. Those there's some areas that have been masked off and sprayed light gray earlier the other day, so those will mask off. That little round part in the center will get masked off and sprayed a metallic. Oh, bummer. Sprayed the bottom of the feet black. The only part of the kit that's going to get any black. So those look good. Side pieces, dark blue. These pieces, man, I tell you what, I wish this was an original kit. I sanded upon these things about 4 times, and they're okay. They're not Neo grade quality, but I think once they're flat coated, they'll be fine. But again, it's not focusing. But come on, camera. Let's get some light. There it is. So looks okay. I like the color though. It's hard to see. My lighting sucks as usual. Sorry guys. Went through and straightened these guys up around the edges. Sprayed the center dark gray. Focus, focus, focus. So those will get masked in the center tomorrow night after this dries, and the outside will get sprayed light blue. So I got 4 of those, and then this crotch piece here, sprayed the dark gray there. You know, let that dry, not mask that. Sprayed the darker blue on that, and that'll be it for the armor color. And then there'll be some masking and some detail painting, and then I can actually put the suit together, I think, pretty much, yeah. And then hand painting and panel lines. So we're looking good. A lot of work done in a couple days, but when I have the time, I can get a lot done. So there we are so far, and looking good. All right, more of the Gouf Custom. So we've got some sub-assemblies. We've got the feet sub-assembled. Pretty good. Pretty nice. I like the way these turned out. These look really good. The joints are really stiff with all the primer and paint I have on these, so this will not be very posable, unfortunately. Focus. Camera. There it goes. So it looks good. I like the little red highlights there. Here are the shoulders, which were a major pain in the ass to mask those gray areas. I spent probably just masking the shoulders, oh geez, 2 hours. This is not focusing. There it goes. So you see those little gray circles? About 2 hours masking those. There's 6 of them. It was a major pain in the ass, but it looks good in the end. Arms looking good. Now I wasn't going to glue all this armor on, but I ended up not having to because there's so much paint and stuff on it. Now you'll see that this, because of the shininess, you'll see some of the unevenness of this resin. Even though it's been sanded and primed a total of 3 times, it's a recast. So most of that will be gone once it's flat coated. So don't worry about that. So looking good. So my next step is going to be panel lining and decals. So here's the leg. I got some tape holding on these side pieces that have been super glued on. Before that, I scraped all the paint off the leg, the side of the leg, and the back side of those pieces, so the super glue would actually stick. That was nerve-wracking getting super glue on there. You'll notice that the top part of the armor is missing, is because I just got done painting them, or masking and painting them. So you see there. Again, my camera's not doing so hot. It's not wanting to focus. Anyway, you see those little details on the side there. Nice out of focus details. Those were, I just masked and painted those tonight. They look pretty good. The edges are a little rough, but after panel lining, they'll be nice and clean. You won't be able to see any of the rough edges. So that was nice detail to do. I've got the torso, for the most part, fitted together. Again, it's awfully shiny and stuff. There's the backpack looking pretty sharp. I got some paint that bled through my masking there. I got to mask off that gray area and repaint some of that. That's an easy fix, no problem. What happened is the paint came through from the back side when I was spraying, so not a big deal. Again, my focus is not doing well tonight. Let's make more with some brighter light. There we go. So I see that little blue within the gray. That's got to be masked off and resprayed. For some reason, on this gray paint, I had some residue from the tape. I'm hoping that'll go away when I flat coat. I think it will. Looking pretty sharp. The only yellow on the whole kit is right there. So this whole thing is pretty much put together. It's heavy. I mean, it's mostly resin. It's looking pretty good. I think it's going to turn out good when I'm all done. I'm always the kind of person that until it's all finished, I think it's going to look like shit. And that's not every single kit. Every single kit I've ever built's like, oh man, this looks terrible, this looks terrible, this looks terrible. And then by the time I get the panel lines and decals and everything on and it all put together, I'm like, wow, that looks pretty good. So that's where I am right now. I'll keep adding to this video. This will be a long video, but it's just kind of like the whole process. But anyway, that's where I am tonight. I think this is, let's see, this is Wednesday the 29th of July, and I've been working solid on this for about a week now. I haven't really touched the model in a few months. I've just been life has been crazy busy, and to be honest, I just haven't been motivated. But now I've kind of got that motivation. I got this one. I worked on skewering up the Sazabi. So here's all the frame bits skewered up and the metallic pieces skewered up. So there's about 200 pieces there. I'm going to try to spray the frame either tomorrow night or over the weekend. So that'll be done. I can start putting that together. So that's another work in progress, but Gouf Custom looking pretty good. So we're getting there, slowly but surely. The weapon is going to be a monster unto itself. There's a lot of pieces, and again, it's not the smoothest cast. So I'm going to sand it out and make it the best I can. But you know, it's all you can do with a recast. So there you go. Thanks for looking as always.